it all came down to whether or not the public would be confused by the two, by the difference. So, and I see no real strength in it. It's, imagine a child who wears diapers, and now the child wants to claim that he's old enough that he doesn't need you to look after him, so he writes his name on his diaper, and he says, see, now I'm acting as agent for my diaper, and now I'm a big boy. You're not a big boy yet. You're still wearing diapers. It doesn't matter what name you put on it. Some people think that you can act as an agent for your person, but your person is evidence that you are in a relationship with the government, and that relationship means you're a child. So if you're a child, because of this relationship, you can't be going and acting as an agent for your child. You don't have the authority to do that. It's kind of like with the duties come the burdens, with the benefits come the burdens. Imagine for a moment a man and a woman, they get married, so now they're husband and wife. The husband goes and has sex outside of the bounds of marriage. And the wife gets upset and he says, no, wait a minute, it wasn't the husband having sex, it was just the man. And I was just acting, and the husband wasn't even there. Would that fly? Of course not. The person is always evidence of an association, of a relationship between two parties. So if you want control over that, you have to control the relationship. You can't allow the relationship to be maintained and then claim that I'm in charge of my person. A lot of people got confused because I told people you have a person, you have a person, you aren't a person. And then they start thinking, well, yeah, since I have a person, I can act as agent over it, but that's not the case. It's been rejected over and over in the courts. That person is evidence that you don't have the authority to act as agent for anyone because you're seen as a child of the province. So until you break that, and once you're no longer a child of the province, why would you need your person anyways? It's like wearing diapers, for Christ's sake. You had a question?
Can you give an example of someone acting as agent for the person, and maybe, if you are able to, like a counterexample where they're not?
Yeah, but you can't. Your person is evidence that you are in a relationship with someone else. So because of that relationship, you have rights and duties. Some people will try to say, I'm going to avoid my duties by claiming that the person is a separate entity and I'm just acting as agent for it. No. Your person, if it's your jacket and you're wearing it, they can grab it and affect you. You can either take it off, you can divorce your mate, say, and then no longer be a husband, or you can maintain your marriage and be a husband. But you can't say, okay, now I'm not acting as your husband, now I'm just acting as a man, and the husband is the agent for the man. You can't do that.
So to be your own agent is to no longer be a child of the state, and if you're no longer a child of the state, are you still a Canadian citizen? You
can be. I don't see why not. I mean, just because 100 years ago, people were Canadian citizens and they weren't tricked into being children of the state or wards of the state. So I don't see why not. It looks to me like they have tried to create some, it's kind of like nanny. We've got a nanny. Nanny realized, hey, she gets all the cookies and all the ice cream if she can convince us to remain as kids. So she convinces us to remain as kids, and now she's got her hands in the cookie jar and we're not getting anywhere near what we should be getting. And yet nanny, to a large degree, a lot of people in the government, they're not all your enemy. A lot of them are in fact what I call ghosts in the machine, who are in fact trying very hard to help people, or to help Canada become the country that we all thought it should be.
Sorry, I'm like a little new to it, but how does it all work with MSP, like medical services, and like once you're...
Do you have your birth certificate on you?
No, I lost mine.
Does anyone have their birth certificate on them? If you look on your birth certificate, what happens? Look at this country. It's a pretty rich country, right? Who do you think owns all this wealth?
We do, yes.
We do.
The resource.
When you were registered as a child, imagine you own stock in Microsoft, okay? Now forget Microsoft, we'll call it Canada. You own stock in Canada. But you're a child. You are not competent to administer your own affairs and take care of your own stock. So the government gets your parents to sign it over to them. They administer it on your behalf. This generates revenue. If I can show you some birth certificates, where on the back it says revenue receipt, treasury use only. Someone received revenue. There is a receipt there for it. If you look at the value of this country, you're worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. Factor in the value of the resources, the number of people. We're worth a lot of money. What you can essentially do is you use that number to point to your fiduciary agent and you say, hey, fiduciary agent, essentially it's like you're growing up, you're no longer a child, you go and you claim your stock, you administer your own affairs, instead of allowing your fiduciary agent to do it. To a large, I mean, if you were to find out that you had stock in Microsoft worth millions, and that someone who you thought was your friend just bringing you a bunch of, maybe a crate of apples every week, saying, here, this is for you, and you thought he was just gifting you apples, and then you find out, you son of a bitch, I own that flippin' orchard, and you've never told me. Suddenly these boxes of apples doesn't really seem like much of a gift anymore, is it? It's almost like they were just getting you to accept it so that they could continue taking from us. We have certain rights, and you can draw on that revenue receipt to pay for anything that Canada has recognized is a right under United Nations covenants. Education, healthcare, travel, anything like that. I broke my elbow once. I didn't have insurance. I went to the hospital. They fixed it. They sent me, they asked for insurance. They asked me for my insurance. I said, I don't have any. They said, well, here, fill out this form.
Canada or US?
And then you just have to, this was Canada. And they said, you just have to pay 3 months back pay, and then we'll cover it for you. You'll have insurance. I said, no, I don't want to do that. I felt stupid. I'm going to pay for it myself. Just give me a bill. And they refused to give me a bill. And what I realized later was they don't have the right to bill you. They have a duty to provide it already for free, regardless of whether or not you have insurance or not. So they just, why do you even have the insurance? And it's not like our value in our country can't pay for it already. It just has to come out of their pockets.
Were you born in Canada or the US?
I was born in Canada.
Now, how does this work with things like dental, eye care? Is it all under the same roof? Can we all
Yeah,
expect
essentially,
the same?
if you just ask them for a bill, they will present you with an invoice. The invoice is 2 parts. There'll be a bill statement, and then there'll be a smaller portion, a remittance, and they say, please send this voucher with your payment. And they want you to send that in. That thing that they want you to send in is a remittance. And if you look up the word remittance, you'll find it's a species of money. Now imagine you go to a restaurant and the waitress brings you the bill, and she also gives you a coupon worth exactly the same amount as your bill. You know what to do then, don't you? Here, a coupon pays for the bill, thank you, it zeroes out. What they do though is they call it a remittance, and they don't want you to realize that they are in fact sending you a coupon worth the same value. And you can find that if they're a member of the Canada Payment Association, bottom lower right hand corner you'll see a 96. That identifies it as a remittance, or it'll actually say remittance, or they'll say remittance voucher, and voucher again, it means it's an item of value. It's a species of money, and it has the value assigned to it. If you accept it as valuable, send it back off. And people have been successful with it. What I suggest people do now is circle that 96 so that they know what it is, cross out remittance, write coupon. Same thing essentially, and that way they can't argue it. And then you put on there, actually there's new information. You have to write in there, like a corporation can't do it. Only you as the living, breathing human being can access this remittance option. So what you do is you sign across there saying accepted for value, exempt from levy, what was it? Non-commercial? No, not non-commercial. Consumer purchase. Then you have to put your name that's on your birth certificate, the registration number from that, and then the unknown or unidentified number. And people have had success with that. One guy discharged a $6,400 Capital One credit card with that, and they sent him a new card, and he's good to go.
What's the unknown number?
The security number, the security of your person number, it'll be either on the back in green, it'll say revenue receipt, treasury use only. It'll be in red, but it won't have anything else written. That's the number you use. The number that is unidentified as to function. Everything else will be identified as to its function.
It just says revenue receipt and the number, N-O.
Any number that's not identified as to its function is the number you want to use. I haven't seen your birth certificate, so I don't know what would be on it.
And you said, sorry.
Sky had success. Is this on a form somewhere? Or like?
What's that?
Was this documented like on a forum by this guy?
No,
Or-
not that I know of. Alvin Warman sent me an email, told me about it.